My tummy hurts. All right. We are live. Myself and Tyler. He's going to talk today.
I am going to talk today.
He has to because it's
I
just
promise.
me. And we don't want to have a monologue. What was the workout, Tyler, today? What'd you do?
I did some pausing snatch pulls, some tempo deadlifts, and then I did every 2 minutes for 7 sets. 10 Russian swings, 10 cal echo, 10 Russian swings.
Nice. I did power cleans, build a heavy single for strength exposure, and then get ready for the community cup. Let's go. Hang power clean community cup event.
Nice.
Event 3. And then sled pushing, getting ready for the high rocks at 80% of the high rocks load. And Marissa had it as like every 3 minutes to go 60 feet. And I was feeling spicy, so I added in easy bike erg, although it turned into sweaty bike erg. I don't know. I felt good, so I kept doing it. And the sled speed did not slow down for 4 sets, so 12 minutes there. And then I had some handstand drills, and then 20 toes to bar, unbroken, 80 meters on the bike erg at a 201 pace, and then 50-foot handstand walk unbroken. I said 80 meters. I meant 800 meters. And then 800 meters on the Echo bike at a 201 pace for 3 rounds. 3 rounds. It's pretty good. Pretty good day. Then I vacuumed the whole gym and mopped it. It was great.
Solid.
Yeah, we have the cottonwood that comes in. Well, I don't open the door because I know the cottonwood comes in, but once you open that door, man, you better.
No turning back.
No turning back. You better. Nate, pull that up. All right. But what was the watts? It was 196 watts and some points 201 because that's just how it works. So there you go, Nate. That was my watts while I rode the bike for the sled and my gymnastics. So there you go. Sophia did ring muscle ups, and then she did, I don't know, ski erg and rowing, I think. I don't even know what it was. I saw her do it. She did it quickly. Like she wants to talk. You want to come on the stage? Tell everybody what you did.
I had like an EMOM of ring muscle ups, an easy echo bike erg, and then, or not bike erg, sorry, echo bike in between for 20 minutes, and then 40-minute AMRAP of 30 cal ski, 30 cal echo, 30 cal row.
Nice.
Yep.
Thanks for that. We should do our training, check in on our training every week. Talk about our training for the day. My training doesn't change though, so it'd be really boring like every week. At least this week it was a little more because of the high rocks that Nate and I are doing. So told Marissa, I was like, I need some exposure on the sleds just because I've never really done them. It was actually not hard, so we'll see. And it's double, so Nate can just do all the work and I can just chill the whole time. Oh yeah, we're gonna bring up the thing. Speaking of training, I was talking to an athlete just not even that long ago. That's why we're a little bit late. And I was explaining to them about the 10,000 steps a day, which I know this gets debunked on the internet all the time, but it's crazy that people are so obsessed with the 10,000 steps. Would you, Tyler, consider trying to achieve 10,000 steps or like closing your rings on your watch a training? Would you consider it training?
I guess it depends on the intention behind it. If you're walking around a theme park, no. But if you're purposely out trying to get...
Why is that not training?
Because that's just living. I think that...
You don't live at a theme park unless you're...
but I think like if you're like I'm going to go get these 10,000 steps, even if you do it at a theme park, but like you're intentionally going to get the steps, then yeah, I would consider it training.
Okay. Would you also consider, because I think anything beyond your normal daily activities. So, daily activity is life, DALs is what they will call them in like physical therapy and other things. Anything beyond that is training.
Yeah.
Look at Renata, bring up her spot. Also, you got to bring up where the 10,000 steps came from, not pictures of pedometers, but those are pedometers for everyone. If you've never seen one, your Apple Watch has that in there. Your Garmin, people's normal varies. It doesn't though. Realistically, when you map it across a long period of time, you can create the average and understand someone's average daily activities of living, unless somebody has a variable job. And I would argue, Renata, because I know your job, that if you went down and you tracked your step count for the last 6 months, you would find a trend and an average steps. What's she saying? No, like your norm and my norm. Right. But my body, physical body, my tolerance, my developed energy systems, strength profiles are different. So yeah, to that point, a 10,000 step thing would be pretty arbitrary in a lot of people's. If you take someone who's the fittest on earth, Mr. Rich Froning, not going to say the other guy, 10,000 steps would be nothing to him. But he has acquired and pushed out his fitness so far that that's why it's nothing to him. He's got a higher level. Whereas you take somebody off the couch, off the carbs, day one, 10,000 steps is a huge ask. It's a huge volume increase. And I would say that would be training. If you were like, hey, look, here's your training program. You're going off the couch, off the carbs, like in CrossFit, and you're coming in and we're going to start you with that. So we're going to go 3 days a week. I want you to get, let's say their baseline was about 2,000 steps. Let's go 3,000 steps for about 6 weeks, 3 times a week. Then we're going to progress that. And we're going to go maybe 8,000 steps and do a nice, what's that? 20% increase or whatever, 30% increase, whatever it is, somewhere around there. And then keep increasing slowly through progressive overload and get them to that step count of 10,000. And then over time, it would be so easy. They would not like the 3,000, the 6,000, the 10,000. It wouldn't feel like anything to them because they've built their capacity. And that's the beauty of human beings. We can build our capacity to a high robustness that we don't feel anything from the imposed demands and stressors, even though they are stressors and demands. Your body has just learned how to deal with them better. Pull up. Did you find up where the 10,000 steps? Pull it up. It's okay. Renata agrees. Yes, for sure. I agree. Renata, look and see your average. I bet your Apple Watch tells you your average. It does. You go into your settings in your phone, or not your settings. Go on your phone, go on your, what's it called? Fitness app. I'm going to look at mine. Tyler, you got one?
I do.
Step count. Let's go. Month. Let's go year. My average step count daily, 8,549 steps. I take my watch off when I train, so I get none of that data. All right, the 10,000 steps originated in Japan, just like I said. Beautiful. And it was created in 1960s by a Japanese walking club, adopted the use of a pedometer called Manpoki. I hope that's how you say it. Which translated into 10,000 steps meter. At the time, the scientists knew that more movement generally led to improved health and longevity. However, there was no research to support the 10,000 steps as an optimal activity goal. Crazy, right? Crazy how something that you're out there doing, trying to hustle and bustle on and get every day on your little watch. It works because you're moving your body. Amazing. It's like this. I was arguing with Luca too. Let's bring up the seed oils. You want to bring up the seed oil argument? Oh man. Here's the thing. Seed oils. He said, this is where I'll give you the backstory. He said, this was his words, and we started arguing about it because he said, seed oils are inherently bad for you. And I was like, well, that's where I'm gonna have this argument now, because you said they're inherently bad for you. They're not inherently bad for you. Seed oils by themselves, like you could, don't do this, but like the same way people do a spoonful of olive oil a day, you could do a spoonful of canola oil and nothing's really going to hurt you about that. The same way the olive oil is not going to hurt you. Look at seed oils cause hurt feelings. They do cause hurt feelings, Noah. But what typically, Tyler, is seed oils paired with?
I don't understand the question.
Like seed oils, where do you find them? Where do you find them in the world?
Oh,
Typically?
they're just always in processed stuff.
Oh,
Everything processed.
amazing. Processed foods.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's all about the dose. Sure, that's true for anything. Mike,
the
get in
poison.
here. Mike, hey man, you know what's up. All right, let's get in here. You put about seed oils. I like your vibe on the seed oils, but seed oils themselves are normally paired with fried foods, potato chips, highly processed foods. And so is it the seed oils or is it the fact that you're eating highly processed foods that's creating the problem? Same thing with the steps.
And nobody eats one chip.
Yeah, dude, nobody eats. I cannot. I love the kettle chips, the pickle ones.
Oh,
That you get from like Whole Foods. They're the pickle flavor. You don't like those?
I don't like anything pickle. I'm not a huge pickle fan.
What? Oh
Even-
my
well,
God. Get
I'll
out of
eat-
here.
I know. I can't. And it always overtakes whatever I'm eating. Like that's all I
That's
taste
the
is the
point.
pickle.
It's so delicious. Pickles are the jam. I love
Yeah.
pickles. Pickle Rick. Yeah, anyway, so I like those potato chips and I'm totally fine with those seed oils. Some of them now are like with avocado oil and everything else, but
Mhm.
WTF. What about it, Noah? You don't like pickles either? Or are you mad that Noah or Tyler doesn't like pickles? But yeah, I think it's funny. Like, yes, you should stay away from seed oils. You should try to, obviously, because you want to balance, like, because they are full of omega-6s and you want to have a good balance of omega-3s and omega-6s. And generally, if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, you do want to stay away from them. But like to sit back and demonize them and be like, it's the seed oil. It's like, no, maybe it's the fact that you're eating potato chips all the time or French fries or highly processed foods. Like I sent Luca a list of foods that seed oils are in. I was like, is it the seed oil or is it this food list? Like, which one is it? So main point, real whole foods. And the more you know. And the science is either way on whether they are seed oils by themselves are bad for you or good for you. They have no conclusive evidence at this moment in time, whether they're causing the problems that they're actually causing. It's similar like fit people, and it's going over this with someone's blood work, cholesterol, LDL and HDL. What really matters for a fit individual is the ratios that could lead to some real problems. Now, obviously, listen to your doctor and your health care provider and everything else. But like, if you're a fit person who eats healthy, you should look at those ratios instead of just like, oh, the bad cholesterol, I'm going to die. It's like, well, maybe. I mean, it depends on what you're eating. Like if you're eating those delicious pickle chips, I mean, then we got to, because you could be super healthy, like look super healthy, have high performance and be eating pickle chips. I mean,
yeah.
Rich Froning in one of the behind the scenes for the Mayhem Classic, I think it was a Mayhem Classic. Either way, he told Roman, he's like, if you eat like this all the time, and he was eating Chick-fil-A. He's like, if you eat like this all the time, you could eat like this all the time. I was like, oh man. Oh my gosh. Get out of here, dude. What about nicotine? I know. What about it? Oh, you can't trust the pickle hater. That was the comment you should have brought up, Sophia. Can't trust the pickle hater. Oh man. Oh, this one. I lost Tyler as a friend today. Oh, that's solid. What's the arrows up? Oh,
I think he's saying about the nicotine.
I don't know. What about it? It's a performance enhancer. I know that.
Yeah, it is.
Focus. You could do nicotine gum. I don't know. I don't smoke. I don't like nicotine. I don't know. I've never really researched it because it doesn't go in my body. I've never had anybody who's had a problem that I've known that I've trained that has a problem with it. So I've never had a reason to look into it. Why don't you drop it in the comments? I'm sure it's bad for you. Just like most things. Yeah. Again, back to Mike Hughes' original conversation. In moderation.
Yeah.
What else? What are the other fitness things that are kind of just out there in the world that are just kind of wild. Like you're like, why do you believe that?
Fitness myths.
Yeah. I mean, you should still get 10,000 steps. I mean, that's a cool thing to do. It's fun. But the reason behind it, you should know the reason behind it is like, oh, it's a made up thing that the guy who made the pedometer wanted to sell more pedometers. And then the
Right.
Japanese club made it super popular. And then everybody bought one and he made a bunch of money. And now you yourself also focus on 10,000 steps. As long as you know that that's happening and you're like aware of it, then who cares? I think that's my
But
problem.
shout out to that marketing guy.
Yeah, he did a good job.
It's fantastic.
I wish my step count, now that I read how many steps, my average steps through a week, I wish my step count was higher, man. I feel like Renata, what was your step count? Comment in the chat. I still want to know. Sophie, you got anyone? What are some things you do that you think that we could look up? Let's
What do
debunk
you
some.
mean? Like fitness, like myths, like Tyler said.
Yeah, I mean the funny one was the it's in C4 that I was just drinking. Oh, man, what is it? It's in the Element. Everybody lost their minds about it. What is it? It's right here. It was the sugar. Come on, somebody help me out.
I know what you're talking about, but I
Oh,
don't know the name of
sucralose.
it.
The sucralose. And everybody lost their minds because it was in the Element and everything else. And there's a whole Morning Chocolate article. And it was like the amount of sucralose that's in there. And I get the point that it says like no dodgy substances. Like I get it. But still though, it was like 0.005. Creatine destroys your kidneys. That's a good one.
Mhm.
Dude, did you see the research about 20 grams of creatine a day brought back cognition in people who have Alzheimer's dementia, like early onset,
see that.
early stage Alzheimer's dementia in the research. And it's like, I don't care if you get a little bit of bloating and your tummy hurts, you should be
Right.
taking your creatine.
For sure.
If your goal is to live longer with quality of life, no matter your own personal bias around taking creatine or not taking creatine, you should just take your creatine and put your feelings away. Put your feelings aside and take your 5 to 10 grams of creatine a day, which is a good segue. If you use 25/8, you're going to have 2.5 grams of creatine in every serving. 25/8,
Nice.
keep you hydrated through the summer with the most delicious strawberry lemonade flavor that you can find. 25/8. I write these every time in my brain.
There's no like downside. I mean, unless you have some medical condition, there's no downside to taking creatine for
Right.
anybody. Like heart health, brain health, body health.
You're not
Dude,
going to poop your pants for a week for 20 grams of creatine, dude. That's like if you're doing what's it called? Baking soda. Sodium bicarbonate. That's when you poop your pants. I mean, maybe some people do poop their pants. I don't. Cody and
I
I
thought there was only a certain amount that your body can absorb of creatine.
there is, but like it's one of those things where creatine's so cheap. Like, why not? Right? It's the same argument. Like some people argue back and forth about branched chain amino acids and like they're a waste of money. But like if you're training a ton and you're doing endurance racing or whatever, like though you should use that branched chain amino acids, even if you're quote unquote wasting your money, because it's better to have than not have, right? So it's like it's better to have it in the tank and in the body and not absorb all of it than not have it at all. So yeah, there is like the level of that, but there's also a like, well, yeah, you get too bulky. What about unwanted muscle mass? That's false. There is no such thing as unwanted muscle mass. I was actually going to should send it to Sophia. That's actually a good point. Let's bring this up. I will send it to Sophia. She can bring it up. But recently, so we're talking about unwanted muscle mass. I was on the fence about whether I wanted to talk about this or not. Primarily because I don't really know how to pronounce some of the names of the drugs. But we're all very, I sent it to you, Sophia, so you can bring it up. We're all very versed on semaglutide, the weight loss drug. Right? All right. Well, there's a couple two new drugs coming out. Trevor Trevor I don't even know how to say it. And this other one that basically myostatin inhibitors in your body, just to give you a brief on it, they inhibit muscle growth. And what this drug now does is it basically opens up the cap on the stops the myostatin inhibitors and opens up your ability to build muscle. And what they're doing now is they're taking these two drugs, because we know that semaglutide is muscle wasting. So people who take semaglutide to lose weight, there's a lot of muscle wasting that happens. And then they've been now researching how they could not do that. So they're going to give you like a trifecta of drugs, when really you could just eat right and exercise, but why not? Hey, let's take drugs instead. And so now they're going to give you semaglutide, and they're going to give you this Trevogrumab. Try to say that, Tyler.
I don't even see it. Where?
At the top.
Oh, up at the top.
The fourth word.
Trevogrumab. Yeah.
Trevogrumab.
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 They're
Someone
just making stuff up now.
Yeah. And then this other drug, it starts with an S. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but either way. And they're going to combine them together. Renata, I knew this was coming. I sent this to Renata. She's a doctor of nursing. And so I send her a lot of stuff often. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So they're going to give you semaglutide to lose weight, and then they're going to give you these two drugs so your muscles don't waste away. But what is cool for us exercisers and the creatine thing is you could take these two drugs and build a bunch of muscle. And there's no real androgen side effects, like androgenic effects, which is wild. Because androgenic effects is everything that people don't want: hair loss, body hair growth, deepening of the voice for women, enlarging of like your kidneys, potential heart risks, those types of things. Gynecomastia, which is basically man boobs. What else? Acne, death, all the things you don't want. And now these drugs are seemingly having very, very small to minimal androgen effects, which is crazy. It's crazy. And you know what's even crazier is I looked, these since they're new drugs, they're not on the banned substance list currently. Yet. So take them while you can, I guess. No, don't do that. Don't do that, because they've only done trials in monkeys, and they're starting to do clinical trials. I actually sent the human clinical trials over to Renata, and I might sign up, dude. That'd be cool. Yeah, where's Harley? I don't know where Harley is. He didn't text us. He might be traveling.
Bro's getting a haircut, or he got a haircut. He's going to come in looking sharp.
Okay. I'm glad it pops in. Oh, here we go. Renata's coming in. She read the clinical trial. 600 people with obesity trial phase 2. So I read, so what's crazy is the trial, they're going off of BMI. And because I have so much muscle mass, I actually fall in the category of the BMI. Now it would skew the whole research study because I don't have obesity, quote unquote, but I have a high BMI, which would allow me to get into the group. Let's see. 26 weeks, 4 groups. Renata, we got to get in on this. Everybody else listening. This show took a turn. This is what happens when it's just me and Tyler. These are the things that I talk about. I did think about this also too with we can get off this topic, but either way, new drugs coming out. What do they call them when they're like high class drugs? Not on the banned substance list. So there's a lot happening in the pharmaceutical world, which is kind of neat. Oh, Renata said, let's go. Yeah, we should sign up for it. That'd be sick. Dude, I'd be like the best hybrid rock star of all time.
Yeah, you would.
Pushing that sled. We'll go back to Nate's comment about the sled pushing, Sophia. If I take those drugs, maybe I'd have an opportunity. No, I want those 400 people. Oh yeah. We both know I'm doing majority of the sled, Nate says. Not after today, man. I feel very confident in my ability to push the sled without drugs. I was talking about that when we went to go run yesterday. Cody and I were talking about it. And I was like, man, it's crazy to think like there are a lot of people in the space that do these competitions, like sign up for High Rocks or sign up for the Open. And I don't necessarily have anything wrong with it because I just like whatever about it at this point, especially when it's in like the classification of therapeutic. So people who have like low men who do TRT who have really low testosterone, and like you're gonna have a heart attack if you don't go on testosterone replacement therapy. Those people who don't know, if a male, their testosterone gets too low, you're at severe risk of heart attack. If your testosterone gets too high, you're also at severe risk. So you need to stay in the optimal range, or there's some high implications there of death. So people come in the gym normally and want to get health and longevity and want to live a long time. And yeah, sure, they sign up for the Open and they click the box about the rules. There's a independent conversation I have with people about that. Of like, hey, keep in mind that it's not allowed in competition, but I don't want you to come off of it and ruin your life over it.
I thought TRT was one of those drugs.
You can get
you
can
get
get
a
a
medical whatever.
But
Yeah.
you think Johnny in the 5 p.m. class
Oh, right.
is
Yeah.
yeah, let me get my therapeutic use exemption for the CrossFit Open that cost me $20. You're right. Like, and then like, do you think of High Rocks? Like, how many people are out there, or any event really out there doing things like peptides now, TRT? Like, we would be blind and stupid to think that that's not happening.
Do they test in High Rocks?
Supposedly they do at the only the Elite 15 though. So like anybody could be out there juiced to the gills, until they get to that point. And that's my point, is like I don't think these scenarios where people are using these types of things for their health and longevity and change their life and all these other things. I think there's a lot of positive things that can come from pharmacology that could be underutilizing in all spaces. And it just so happens that there are rules of drug use for other things. But now if you're like out there and you're taking these drugs and you're like, I'm going to get to semifinals, or I'm going to win, qualify for worlds for High Rocks, or I'm going to try to be in the top 10 men in a marathon or cycling or whatever, then I have a problem. Then I'm like, hey, like we gotta sit down here and have this conversation.
Yeah.
It's not okay, not allowed, but it is pretty impressive. And I wonder how many people are like just running around all drugged up. Because I was laughing. I was like, Cody, I'm out here taking creatine and beta alanine, trying to eat real whole foods and run fast.
Oh, speaking of which, I read this last week. I don't know where it is, but they call it the Enhanced Games. Have you heard of this?
Yeah. There are lots of members talking about it. That's kind of why we've been talking about the drugs so much recently. Is because there are a lot of members. Like it was like last week at 5:15 in the morning. 2 of our members come in and they're just chatting about the Enhanced Games and like asking me all these questions. I was like, hey, look, there's gonna be a lot of injuries. It's gonna be cool to watch. It's gonna be a spectacle. I mean, it's like it's why the circus got so popular back in the day, or even I mean, I don't want to go down with gladiators because they were prisoners that were put out to fight for enjoyment of the kings and the nobility. But people like human beings like that. It's why the UFC is so cool. It's why the spectacle of the CrossFit Games. It's thankfully nobody dies over it anymore. Intentionally, when they bring out the lions,
right?
Oh, geez. Wouldn't that be crazy to be a gladiator of that time?
No, that would.
Like you got to get out there and you're like, here's your sword and shield, and let the lion out.
Good luck.
Oh man, crazy! That was human beings. There were human beings who thought that was good to do. That's insane. And
it drew such big crowds too. So it wasn't just like a couple of people. It was like
that's the main point. That's why, the Enhanced Games are going to be super popular.
Yeah,
but that's why people like it. It's going to be the circus. But yeah, it's crazy. What do you think about it?
I think it could be fun to watch. I think the fact that it's like just do it. We're all on something and like there's no like I'm trying to like
No
cheat my
response.
way in. Like everybody's doing it, and everybody's basically now just on the same playing field. I think it could make it super fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think man, it's so hard because there's like a level of responsibility. I think there should be there in a little bit too.
Yeah.
Because I always think about this and even though we're having the drug conversation, I think about this in youth athletics and like NCAA stuff. I think they should be. I think in those situations, like you get caught. Well, I think in CrossFit too, you get caught, you should be banned for life.
Do you really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm on the Michael Phelps train. He's a
Mhm.
big champion of that. Like you should get banned for life. If you like, I like Ricky Garrard, and I think it was really cool that he trained and waited in the weeds and made it back, and he's been tested since then and everything else. But I think since you got caught, you broke the rules, you should be banned for life, right? Because on the flip side, I can believe that, and I can also believe that not the things that he was taking, but therapeutic drugs to help people live longer and healthier are great things also, and be okay with that. Yeah, so that's what Marissa's saying is opening the floodgates. That's where I was going with the NCAA and kids. It's like it would open the floodgates to super unsafe things, right? Because there's no regulation. The dosages that people will take, and you look at bodybuilding, that like they've already done it. Bodybuilding is the test of like, is this a good idea? And I would say no.
Yeah.
Because the bodybuilders continue to take more and more and more drugs. They don't cycle off of them. They become freaks of nature. And that's okay. Like that person's personal choice. There's a lot of reward in doing it. There's a lot of fame. And like, we've had a ton of, like Ronnie Coleman has had like the heart attack and stroke. We've had a couple of the bodybuilders die. And it's because of the use of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Less about the rules and that you're banned, but the science. I mean, don't break the rules in general. Right. Yeah. But yeah, then the kids too, like with like TikTok and Instagram, everyone wants a six pack, right? So they're just going to take the drugs and then there you are.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, like going back to the trials for those drugs,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Renata knows, or if you read it, are they implementing any kind of like resistance training or aerobic things for these people, or is it just like live your lives, take these drugs, and
It's going to be more of that nature because they're doing it for weight loss, basically like the pairing with semaglutide.
yeah.
I'm sure there will be some people who do exercise, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not in the brief of the sign up for the
Okay.
trials. It's more to see if they can pair these drugs with semaglutide to save muscle sparing and get you to lose weight at the same
Right.
time. So,
Are you talking about the myostatin blockers?
yeah, baby. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. The man himself. Wow, look at that fresh cut. The
Fresh
audience
cut.
says
Fresh cut.
fresh cut. Yeah, it was kind of cool. All right. And then Renata's coming in with, not that I read, I was going to say the same thing. These people are taking semaglutide, the active ingredient of Wegovy, and they just take it to lose weight. They don't want to exercise and eat better. That is true. There needs to be behavioral lifestyle guidelines that go with these things, but doctors don't care about that. That's not their job. They're 5 minutes with you in the office. They can't possibly help you with behavioral change and a quality exercise program.
No chance.
Anyways, yeah, that was kind of cool. I wanted to bring it up, I guess, because we got talking about enhanced games. Where do you watch those, Tyler? I didn't really look into it. The members.
I don't know. I just read the article of what it was, and I was like, this is crazy.
So they're happening, but we have no idea where they're at.
Right? Yeah.
Or when. Sick.
Let's see if we can find out.
I'm sure we'll see it a lot.
They're
about them.
definitely in Russia.
No, they're here in the U.S.
No, they're in Russia. But
There's a lot of cool things actually too. I saw recently I want to call it the Barnyard Games, but I know that that's not what that is. But it's about like ranch fitness. Harley, you would be good at it. Like how like the tactical games. I don't know why I want to call it the Barnyard Games. That's not what it's called. But I sent it over to a member who she rides horses and does like a lot of that stuff here in the area. And it's like you move hay bales and they compete fitness wise, but they do, farm fit stuff. It's kind of funny. So there's a whole thing happening with that. as well. So there's a lot of fitness things.
So this little short excerpt about the enhanced games on Wikipedia says May 2025, the organization announced its plans to hold the games May 2026 at Resort World in Las Vegas.
Sick. Cool.
Vegas,
Dana
there you
White.
go.
Dana White's in charge of it. Is that I wouldn't be
No,
surprised.
it's some Australian guy
Oh, that's cool. All right. Maybe that's why everyone was hyped about it.
because it got approved, or it's like they announced that they're going to actually do it.
Yeah, cool,
That's
dude.
why there's probably a big influx of
The circus. No, we were talking about how when we were at the track, I was telling Cody how like there's probably all these people, not probably, there are all these people on certain drugs and stuff and doing things now because of like the rise of the peptides and the pharmaceuticals and everything else. And it's been around before, but it's like big now. And just so the general person coming in a CrossFit gym or competing at a run, a high rocks, like in CrossFit open, blah, 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 are probably taking something to some degree for some reason or another and not trying to get an edge in competition, but they are naturally getting an edge.
Correct.
And then I was like, and I'm out here taking beta alanine and creatine and trying to run my face off. Like it's,
I think the issue with everything you just said, not the issue with what you said, but the reality is that is probably true. The issue with people having access to substances that are banned substances is I think that most people are just ignorant to what is banned and what is not banned, and they don't take the time to look into it. And so, like, to your point, I think that a lot of people who I can foresee that like people who have access to a facility that will give them peptides or something like that will take it because they get told like, oh, this is going to make you feel better. It's going to increase your testosterone. It's going to balance out your hormones. It's going to help you recover from that injury that you had, whatever. And then they're going to be able to, you know, potentially see an augmented, you know, performance level. And then they're going to go to their local comp and they're like, I feel great. The training in the gym I go to is working. And it's like, well, you're also taking this banned substance that you weren't even aware of. You know, they don't even know they're cheating. Maybe some people are aware of it, but like, I think what you just said probably holds water in the fact that they aren't doing it for those reasons, but they're getting that.
Oh, 100%. I know. Owning CrossFit gyms for a long time. There are members and people in the community, whether they're in your gym or around, that I know that are going to these Vital Health spas and getting stuff done. Do I know the specifics of what they're getting done? Like, I don't know, but I do know that those places hand out those types of substances, and they're good for you for health and longevity, but they are giving you performance enhancing effects. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that.
So I just, you and I haven't talked about this yet, but I had a whole lengthy conversation with CJ about it. There's a facility nearby that offers peptides. And essentially I was curious about BPC 157 because of my shoulder, my left shoulder's like rotator cuff gets pretty irritated. I think I injured it at some point in, you know, my competitive years. And then from there, you know, I haven't ever taken anything like that because I'm regularly still participating in sport, whether it be, you know, I don't think I'm going to ever be the best mountain biker out there. And that's not the reason I do it. But I still have this ethical dilemma of like, it still potentially is a banned, or it's not potentially, it is a banned substance and they potentially will make me feel better. But as long as I'm competing in something, I don't think it's right for me to do that. And it's unfortunate because it is, you know, a substance that technically doesn't have performance enhancing qualities, but it will help recovery in this injurious, you know, or this injured tissue that I have. But I don't feel right ever taking that until I decide that I'm done for the foreseeable future. And then even then, like, it's not a substance that I could use as a therapeutic use exemption anyways, because it's a banned substance. So it's not like getting PRP and then taking a 3-month break and then going back to sport. It still technically is a banned substance. So until it's like approved by the FDA or something changes in the regulations, like I theoretically will never be able to use that as long as I want to compete in something. And so back to your comment of like earlier, maybe it was right before I got on the call, you said you think that people should have, you know, lifetime bans for if they get caught. So it's like,
I think in sport, and you're like a Tyler back me up on it. Like, and you're chasing down, trying to be, you know, really competitive, and you're in the top. Yeah, you should have a lifetime ban. Because I can have two things be true at one time for me. And like, if you're in my gym training and you sign up for the open and you're taking, let's say, testosterone or BPC or anything, I'm like, whatever. Like, obviously I'm gonna tell you, hey, that's banned, just so you know. Like, you're competing illegally. Like, even though it's $20 and it's the open, like, what you're doing is against the rules, just so you know. Because like not squatting below parallel or not touching your chest to the ground on a burpee is also against the rules. So there's
You
that
wanna
too.
know what else is against the rules technically?
What?
All the people who are probably going to do the community cup workouts this week when they're not supposed to be done
Till the 9th.
until the 9th.
Yeah, no.
And yet
Community
I
cup.
didn't know, so I
See what it
plugged
says
it
right in the
into
middle? See where it says right in the middle here? You can't see it because it's really small, but it says pro. I don't know if you guys know this, but I, by the measure of CrossFit, am a professional level
how much
CrossFit
money
athlete.
do you make from competitive CrossFit.
Listen, that's not
Listen.
how I measure who's a pro or not.
I'll tell you how much money I've made.
I don't believe.
I think I've won $300 at a local comp one time.
I don't believe that your
There you go.
income is relevant to your level of human performance to dictate professionalism or not.
I'm just defining the word professional.
I understand.
The
And my
implication
level
generally
is
is that you're making money.
by broad times and modal domains, I am a professional athlete, just so everyone knows. That felt really good, actually. I thought about this.
That's good.
Wait, what were you saying before? I do want to, not doing the community cup this week, but so I can retire your pro status because you're pro status. You're also pro as well, Marissa. Okay.
I don't think I am this year.
You probably are. It wasn't that hard. All right. So, but
I
was
sucked this year though.
I was thinking about this actually with the whole thing, and this goes into like it's outside of the drugs, but it's competing, and it's like pushing yourself to a higher level. And I thought about this a lot because Marissa and I have been talking about like, why do you you don't really need a reason to train, like really, like I don't personally. I just am training to improve my physical body, and in the state of CrossFit, I am not good enough to qualify for a event. I've tried for masters and I can't get in because I'm not fit enough. But what's crazy to think about, it wasn't that hard. It was actually hard to be pro. I shouldn't say that. It's be hard to get all those levels. But then so what I was thinking about was like, okay, that doesn't bring down my proficiency in this thing. That doesn't bring down my abilities. Like, I was working out today and like crushing myself and feeling great about it. And then, you sign up for the community cup and it's like, based on your capacity of the given tests, I'm considered professional on a rubric that was created with percentiles against my peers, regardless if I've qualified for like Masters Fitness Collective or Legends or the CrossFit Games or whatever. Like, it's deemed based on a large cohort of people who did these workouts as prescribed. I'm a professional in those capacities of thrusters, pull-ups, bar muscle-ups, double unders, the workouts, right? It's an interesting thought process because it made me feel really good because I was like, damn, that's sick. Because I could have been.
The verbiage could have been elite, and would it have felt equally as good?
Yeah. Like, the main point is I found myself at the top of the food chain of this thing that I've spent almost 2 decades, and hopefully I'll get to 2 decades of doing that. I was like, fuck, dude, I'm so good. All of that time and all of my proficiencies and my practice, and like, relative to Harley, I suck, and that's totally fine. I'm pretty good.
You haven't seen me work out lately, dude.
Okay. You're best against my best. Anyways, yeah, it's just a cool thing of like, and I think this was a cool, I don't know how CrossFit should promote this and like market it, because I felt great about it. I was like, damn, and it was like a momentary thing, but then I started thinking deeper into it. And I was like, I think more people should think about how like tip of the spear they are. Cause that's like the thing in CrossFit is like, that's why we did it. You want to become the tip of the spear. And they've created a way for you to hunt down these levels, excel, and like grow your capacities and retest and everything else. And I was just like sitting with it and I was like, this is sick. And then I got the shirt and I thought about when I got the shirt in the mail and I was kind of upset because it's like you can't even see the pro. And like other people say advanced and rookie and
If
everything
you
else.
squint a little, like
Yeah,
kinda
right in the
like that.
spot. Yeah. But then I was thinking about, I was like, oh man, that's really crazy to think about. Like, because people will get down on themselves. Like, oh, I suck at CrossFit or I want to be better. And that is true for running. It's true for cycling. It's true for high rocks, whatever. You sit back and you're just like, I'm so terrible at this. This sucks. And I thought about that in the context of like getting this shirt and signing up. And I was like, I don't suck at this at all. And I have zero reason to ever realistically, like I'm a human being, so I'm going to say it sometimes, but I seriously have zero reason to say I suck at CrossFit. Yes, I got a 2XL. Okay.
He's the biggest pro out there.
Yeah. Big T lifestyle. I love them.
Yeah, I think that another perspective, and I mean, this isn't going against what you're saying, because I do understand that, like, acknowledging where you're at, how far you've come, understanding like that it's a never-ending process of refinement and, you know, developing your craft for those who want to be
Also just
competitive.
knowing that I am good at CrossFit, period.
Yeah, but acknowledging like that you've gotten to a state and a status in which you are great at what you're doing
Yeah.
because you've done it for the last 15 years or however long it's been.
Yeah.
That said, Josh Foley and I were talking about how his perspective once he had his kids has shifted a little bit, and he's acknowledged how much value CrossFit and exercise has added to his life from a fulfillment standpoint. Because before he had the kids and he had the luxury of time, he's like, yeah, I would show up to class, I'd do some extra credit, or like I coached him for a little bit, so he'd do like really like well-rounded training, and all this stuff happened. And then he didn't appreciate how valuable it was then until his time was restricted, and then he acknowledged how much it added to his life from a positive perspective. And so we discussed that over lunch yesterday, and how like it's truly a gift to be able to use our bodies and get it to a point where you are proficient at a given thing, or even if you're not proficient, but pursue, you know, a higher level of performance in any one quality that you want to develop. Coincidentally, Laura Horvath posted something about it's a privilege to get to do this.
I didn't
and
like
she-
the post, by the
you
way.
didn't like it?
No.
Well, I just thought it was interesting, the alignment with the conversation.
Yeah.
Of like, it's a privilege to get to develop things. It's a privilege to get into the gym and work on your weaknesses or pursue something at a higher level, because it truly is. I think that a lot of people,
I think the reason why I didn't like it is because, like, for me, and I think people everybody's in a different spot in their journey, right? And so, like, I think for me, I'm beyond that spot of the journey, and I don't like. I know that inherently. I don't need to and it also bothers me because she curated a post, whoever's doing her marketing,
yeah,
and like went on Canva, put those things up, found the right photos, and it's to influence you and create relevancy around what she's doing. And I'm sure there's a level of that she believes that there's a privilege in what she's doing, and we all do. But I think most people who are more developed are beyond that, where you know that, you recognize it, and it's not something that you have to be brought back to.
Yeah, I'm more talking about the people who aren't at the highest level, though. So, like, I know that you get this pro status, but like for everyone who's not ranked at pro in this
when you're a rookie
level system, like it's okay to be at that lower status, and like understanding it's like you have the physical capability to pursue something greater, and then like acknowledge that yes, there are going to be bad days and good days, and the reality is there's honestly equal probably parts good days and bad days. From your perspective, it's like not every day is going to be a home run, and like, but still acknowledge that like you are doing something great for yourself, like in the pursuit of excellence or professional status.
Pro status. I said this to Kalisa today because I was like, I think we were talking about like getting mad, or like I was like, oh, do you guys think Taylor Self gets mad? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, so I'm not, like, because they don't think I get mad, they think I get triggered about certain things. It's because I'm not actually mad. Like, most things don't really bother me. I do talk about them and I get fired up, but I'm not like internally, like if we were to test my blood cortisol level, it'd be pretty low. Like, I really don't. Like, if you were to talk to me 5 minutes after I get fired up, I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't really care. Like, it was just fun to argue and get fired up. But I think sometimes, and this goes into what Laura is saying. The people that have a higher like purpose and meaning to everything and have figured that out probably feel the way that I feel. Like, because I was telling Kalisa, I was like, what matters to me the most, especially in the gym when I get fired up about like where the stuff's supposed to go, don't ruin this piece of equipment, why we're training this way, why we're doing that, and just hounding people about it, is because at the root of that, I know that we're trying to change people's life through physical capacity and capabilities. And that having that higher purpose and that anchor point allows all the other stuff just to be washed away. Even though I get angry about it and I yell and I'm like, don't do that, do this. I'm like Rich Froning up in this bitch of like, you out of the gym for a week. Like, what's wrong with you? But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't get bothered by any of that realistically, because I know the value of what we're doing and the purpose behind what it is, the higher purpose of what it is, and what like you're talking about. Because people in that journey as a rookie can be shown that they can end up becoming a pro over time. And I know that deeply. They just need to walk the path. And if they're willing to do that, we can get them to do that. And the same thing with like, it's good that Laura's pointing that stuff out, but I think I just look at it and roll my eyes because I'm like, who needs that realistically? Like, if you need that in your life and you look at it, you might want to talk to your coach around you or the people around you. You're help you overcome that, because Laura's not going to help. Like, she motivated you for a second in time, which is great. But if that really resonates with you, it's like, let's sit down and have a conversation about this, because with a real person in your life.
Yeah, I think that it just felt relevant, and I always acknowledge like the coincidental like overlaps of like conversation, what you're exposed to, what you see, what you acknowledge, etc. And like the timing of, like I said to CJ, it's like, oh, when it rains it pours. Like you get the opportunity to like work with a new client, and then like the next week you get 2 more clients, and it's like the next week it's like stagnant for a while, and then like 5 people quit at once, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? But like, you know, like when it rains it pours. Like I feel like things happen, so like they go through phases where they happen so consecutively. It's either all happening in a positive way, it's all happening in a negative way, or it's like nothing's happening at all. And it's like, it's never like, it never feels sporadic. So I acknowledge that post because it felt relevant to a conversation I had the day before. And then it also feels relevant because I feel like I have a handful of clients, a few, handful is probably generous, 2 or 3 clients where they will say things like, today's bar muscle ups were bad. And it's like, okay, why? Did you stop in the middle of your session and try to like correct something? Did you film yourself and review? Did you reflect upon what you were doing and how you were doing it? Because you have to be a student of the game and own your process to develop yourself. And like, as a remote coach, we can't do that for you every single session. And that's the reality.
Did they also ask themselves, you know, at least I can do bar muscle ups?
Correct. Like, where would your bar muscle ups have been a year ago when we started working together? Oh, that 3rd rep felt really rough today. That's what they said. I'm like, you couldn't do 10 sets of 3 a year ago, you know, after snatching. Like,
Noah, such a good way to describe those sessions.
Season sessions
or seasons. I know I said sessions. That would have been more funny about the session of like, these didn't go good today.
Like, you got to be a student of the game. You have to acknowledge how far you've come.
You're right. That's how Laura's post will help somebody in that specific scenario. You're right. Because they could take a second and, like I said, just be like, well, at least I got to do bar muscle ups. Like, you know, there are people like killing themselves buying this, that, the other program and PDF trying to learn a bar muscle up. So like, at least you get to do bar muscle ups. There are people with 1 arm who do bar muscle ups, you know, and you got 2.
Yeah.
So, like, come on.
I mean, the evolution, like in this specific instance that I'm thinking of, is like the evolution is that client used to have to do like 5 different drills with a very prolonged warm up to learn the turnover and try to make it better. Don't get me wrong, they're still going to do that here and there. But like in this session, you're at a point in their development where you're like, I get to snatch, I get to overhead squat, and then you have a 10-minute EMOM of bar muscle ups. And it's like, yes, if you need more warm up and drills to prepare yourself for that, do a few and like make sure it's right. And if you need to stop your session and like reassess your drills to make them a little bit better, do it. That's fine. Like, but like, acknowledge that you're no longer doing it as the priority of development for the day. You're doing it as just a piece along the way. And it's like,
All right, I'm gonna say
Go
with
ahead.
all of that context, Laura Horvath's post is good.
With context.
The
for sure.
issue is she had no context. Pull it up again, Sophia. Her line of words. So without context, her post is meaningless. You
And I
just
thi-
give the meaning. Thank you.
I
Man's-
think but that's the magic of the, not the magic of those posts, but like that's could be said about any one line
what was her comment?
motivational.
Roll up a little.
bullshit.
Sophia. Oh, it's it. Next time you're doubting yourself or dreading something, remind yourself because we tend to forget the opportunity you have. All
Well, I
right.
think the reason she made like a dozen slides is that it's bound to resonate with someone somewhere,
Sure,
right? If you
sure.
you throw the kitchen sink at the thing, someone's gonna, catch it and be like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
all
hell
right.
yeah!"
With your context, with your all encompassing knowledge, I agree. I agree. I agree with your post. That was good. I agree with the post. That was good. All right, you changed my mind. You changed my mind. Anyways, let's. Speaking of mindsets,
I changed my own mind. That post is stupid.
I sent Sophia a thing earlier. Let's watch. Let's bring up the Torian Pro video. Let's watch this video, and I'll just want you guys to think and see. All right.
She scared me.
Doesn't matter how you feel, you got to go out there and show everyone that you want it more than them.
Nice, mate. League of your own. Nice, relax. Good job.
Like really putting pressure on myself is such a good thing.
All right, along.
Let's go.
All right, Sophia, take it down. What did we learn? What did we learn?
That they didn't highlight Javi.
Oh,
That's what I learned.
brutal. That was brutal. He was at the camp. He had some time. Come on.
No, but I mean, that was a proven post, and they posted a ton of people.
That's true. That is fair. He was there. He is one of their athletes, and he was excluded from the video. But he was in other things.
I don't know how many people were there. Maybe there was like
Oh.
70 proven athletes, but
So that's what
That's
Harley
it.
learned. Javi wasn't in the video. What did we learn from it? What did you see? What did you hear? What did you learn? Sophia, got anything? You come up from the backstage. Anybody in the chat? What did you learn? Tyler, anything?
it's that if you yell, you do better.
Okay.
That everybody's excitement yell has turned into "Let's go." I don't hear people say anything else besides "Let's go" anymore.
Because it feels good. Have you ever said it? Like when you're done? I mean, it's either that or F Cody. That's the other. You know?
Jace taught me eat shit. Is you look at the camera and yell "eat shit" really aggressively, and then that's bound to mean assert dominance.
Yeah, all right. All right.
No, I mean
Anything really stand out? Like stand out.
everyone's uncomfortable throughout competition. Like if you're truly giving your best effort and asking the most of yourself, your peak physical potential, it's gonna fucking hurt. Like
Yeah.
everyone's on the ground
Yeah,
just
I think
like groaning,
we-
flipping over.
If we do CrossFit, I think we know that
Yeah, for sure.
in general. Play it again, Sophia. Yeah, it's just. I mean, we'll just play the beginning part because this is what I noticed off the gate. Okay, stop it.
That's
What's
all you
hap-
needed. That's all
Yeah.
you needed.
What's happening in that moment?
Tia, it looked like she won, but then she turned around and was like upset with herself.
You think?
Yes.
Interesting. That's really interesting that you think that and you went to that place.
I think that
Really?
was the start of a workout. I don't
It
even think.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
What?
the start of the workout. Yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
thought that was the end because
that's
she was
her
like,
hype
"Oh
up.
my gosh."
She's getting excited. She was.
But I feel like when she
introduced, "Hi,
wins, she
everybody,"
does
and then was
that.
like, "Yeah, She did it when she won at the end of that too.
Oh, interesting.
That was her hype up. That was her
What's
getting
more
excited.
interesting is you thought that she was mad at herself.
Yeah.
That's also interesting on your own.
I thought she like walked off and got like mad.
Nope.
No.
That's why I took away from it. I don't know.
Wow.
That's her hype up. That's her getting excited to go compete.
Oh.
Yes, I think there's a lot there just in general to look at the best in the world. So like the first thing is like Sophia thought she was mad at herself, which Sophia gets mad at herself quite often. So that might be speaking more about yourself than you even have realized.
Maybe.
So that is the point. That's the point in when you watch the live, they announce her name. She is facing the audience, hands out, smiling and waving. And 100% she didn't know that that camera guy was there, that the guy from Proven was standing right behind her. She was just in the moment and turning on the switch, going to the crazy side. Like that is a moment in time where you now realize as an athlete and a competitor, and if you're standing there on that start line with her, you're not winning. And you weren't going to probably win because it's Tia, but that ability to just like, you're literally in 1 second smiling and waving at the audience because your name is called. And then next second you turn and you're letting the beast out of the cage. Like, think about that psychology it takes.
I mean,
Like
it's very
you are,
similar to that like Sarah Sigma's daughter clip where she's like smiling and then they say like stand by and she just like completely changed her facial expression, just like zoned in.
yeah, and it's
Same
something that
vibe.
I don't think it's something that's learned. I don't think you can learn it. I think it's special and unique. You can try, but like, they're just people who are just a little crazier than somebody else.
For sure. I
And she
wish
just-
I had less going on between my ears in all of my competitive moments, to be honest.
Yeah, it's that is the caption. Like when people are like, "Oh, what do you think it is?" Like what that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching like throughout the open workouts, watching Travis Mayer, and when he's
Oh,
in
yeah.
it, like
He's
no one's home, like no one is there. He knows his job so well and it's just like he's in such a flow state when he is in it, where he truly, it's like just dead face, like as you guys called it back in the day. And it's like, it's a skill. I don't know if it can be learned, but I think it can be cultivated if they have it, if the person has it. But then from there, like after watching the best in the sport be able to do that, Noah coincidentally was never able to do that. He was always very present and cognizant throughout workouts, the opposite of Travis. And I think that was probably his downfall. I think he probably could have actually been better.
the year that he got close, what did he do?
I don't know. What did
He's
you get?
in an interview the year in 2019 when he got close. He decided to no longer be the fun, happy-go-lucky guy.
There you go.
He came into 2019 to try and win, and like turned off the whole, I want to enjoy the moment, I want to be happy-go-lucky. Yeah, survive the cut.
Yeah, that too. The order of the workouts would have completely changed the cut.
Yeah, that's true.
If the sprint happened after the lift, if the lift was the cut,
And
would have been probably a different outcome.
The other same thing too, like in that video, not only are you noticing Tia, what did Gracie Walton say? They had the overlay.
I didn't hear it.
Play it again. Go to like a quarter in the beginning.
How you feel? You got to go out there and show everyone that you want it more than them.
Nice, mate. League of your own. Nice, relax. Good job.
Like really putting pressure on myself is such a good thing.
All right, stop it. What'd she say?
Putting pressure on yourself is a good thing.
Yep. And she went out there. I mean, she already had her game spot. So like competing for the games was not her objective, but who stopped Tia? Gracie Walden was the roadblock to getting a perfect score for Tia at Torian Pro. So there's a lot there that I think people like don't understand about mindset. And I don't think people look at it through that lens and like people watch those hype videos and they just like watch them for enjoyment. I watch those hype videos and I try to figure out like what is it that makes them tick? Why are they so good? Because at a certain level, and you guys like Harley knows this, and you just talked about it with Travis and some other people. Once you get to that point, it has nothing to do with like you still have your weaknesses and everything else, but it gets to a certain point where it has nothing to do with the fitness ability. It all comes to execution and who you are as a person in that moment in time when you're competing. And these people just have an edge on you. And that work gets done between the ears in training through like the hard conversations, some of the Laura Horvath stuff that we're just talking about, and like evaluating yourself. You know, even I say like, oh, Sophia's first thing was like she was mad at herself. And it was at the end of the workout. It's like, no. She
That's
wasn't
called
mad.
projecting, Sophia.
But that's a thing to sit back and take away. And you could be like, hey, oh, shoot, you're on this live call and you just like threw me under the bus. Okay. Or you can sit back and go, oh, you know what? I just found a piece. I might think in my mind that when something goes wrong, I need to project out a negative emotion to let people know that something's going wrong. But that actually might be the problem. And then you can dive into how to fix that. And instead of like being mad at yourself that things go wrong, you don't do that and do something different and solve the problem, as we like to say. But there's just like a whole nother thing. And like the pressure thing was really stand out to me because how many athletes are, especially female athletes, and I don't know if there's a connection yet, but they talk more about putting unnecessary pressure on themselves. And when Gracie Walton put the pressure on herself to take it to Tia, and she said in an interview at Torian, she said she was going to fuck around and find out, she was able to stop Tia. Like, so that's what it took. It took putting an immense amount of pressure on herself and deciding that she's going to go for it to stop Tia. And anybody who's ever stopped Tia, that's the same conversation. Laura has said the same thing. Like, to try and stop Tia, you have to take, and that Tia is the example of the best, right? Is the mountain that you're trying to climb at this point in time. It could have been Fraser. It could have been, I mean, look at Jeffrey Adler. What did he say in the 2020 documentary? Anyone but Matt. I don't care who wins, but anyone but Matt. And it's crazy. We have these examples. Go to the YouTube I sent you. If anybody watched the it's not behind the scenes, Road to the Games with Abby Dommett and
Yeah, I just watched that.
E. Sagafi.
Just watched it
Go to like
yesterday.
the towards the end, Sophia. She's in her garage. Abigail's in her garage. Keep going.
Geico
that's
has a
good.
97%
Geico.
customer satisfaction rating.
Wow. Our cats just.
Wow. I love it. All right. So, well, okay. This is good. Go to, closer to the end. Go to the, oh my God, Geico. You're killing us, man. Hey, you guys want to save money on your car insurance? Yeah. It's around there. She's in her garage. Maybe it's before the movie
I
theater.
think it's before the movies.
Go back past where fee. Go the other way. Keep going. I can see the thing. Keep going. Go. Scroll a little faster. Right there. Yeah. Let's play this.
Put full effort and we're gonna go really hard, but that's another thing that's really nice about going piece by piece, because sometimes my coach will put stuff in and he's like, oh, did you see what the next piece is? And I'm like, no, I don't look ahead. I don't want to know what the next piece is, because that's going to affect what I'm doing on the pieces prior, and that might change. I might start creeping up like, oh, crap, like this is coming, instead of like, hey, this is what it is, get started.
I think it's when she's on the bike. Oh no. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Now forward.
We're going to a little coffee shop. My favorite hobby, going to coffee shops.
What part were you looking for?
We are at
Go
Sago
ahead and
Coffee.
pause it.
Creeping up like, oh, crap, like this
No,
is
just pause
coming,
it.
this is coming, instead of
The part where she talks about like this not being fun, and you basically give everything. Like when people say, "Oh, I'm at the games to have a good time and do my best," she basically said like that's all bullshit. Like you give up going to, weddings, bridal. She gives a list of things, birthdays.
Yeah,
You
that was
give-
when she was in the gym.
yeah,
Before.
you give all that up to go compete at the CrossFit Games. You can't not give those things up.
For
And
fun.
people, yeah, and people are out here being like, I want to just have fun. I want to have fun at the games. And she's out here. And I mean, the difference is when you watch it, like Fee has been trying to get back to the game. She's not like a top competitor. Like Fee's going to go to the games and get the bottom end. And there's no slight at her. She's phenomenal. But her activities are walking with her dog, hanging out from what they showed. This small snapshot of what they showed, but I'm willing to bet like Fee and they show too where Fee and everybody do the zone 2 run and they run at Dallon's pace and they mess up the run and Matt gets pissed off and is like, you either going to do this the right way like a professional or you're going to stay the same. And so you could tell that like their level of
or you're going to go run by yourself is what he said as well.
Yeah. The
He's
level,
like, everyone's doing this
Yeah.
solo if you can't do it right as a group.
Yeah. And the level of precision that he expects, right? Whereas Abigail Adama is on the other end and she wants to stand on the podium. She says that in this video. And she won Mayhem Classic. And her coach her coach moved out to her. So I'm assuming that they're paying for him to be out there. Because like why else would he go out there? Then he's riding one piece at a time every day for her and giving her the next piece. So he's
what did you think about that?
I think it's a great thing. I think she's going to be her best. And I think any athlete could be their best if you were in the gym with them, riding one piece at a time, the situation they have. Yeah, that's a really unique situation. And not everybody's going to, because I'd be like, oh yeah, you want me in the gym every day? Okay, well, you're going to pay me, $5,000 a month and I'm going to be in the gym with you every session and everything else. But he's there riding it. He's tweaking things. They talk about that. So it's recoveries, doses, making sure that the right intensities are being met, the right intentions are being met, the paces are being held. Everything is on point. And I know that she's paying him a lot to do that. And
yeah, for sure.
It's going to make her the best. Now, is she going to win the games or stand on the podium? I don't really know. I just know that she is going really far in, and you see that a lot. You see that with Tia. Like Shane was there every session. You see that Matt when he was with Shane, when he was with Bergeron, until he got autonomous and did it on his own. But either way, like he held himself very accountable more than anybody else. And it's just a thing where like you look at that and you go, wow, those mindsets and those outcomes are intertwined together. And it's crazy. Like if you watch this now, if you haven't watched it, watch it through having an athlete there every day. Yeah, there's nothing like having an athlete every day. Yeah, Tristan coaches some of the best athletes on earth. And he's right. There's nothing like having an athlete there every day, especially when the athlete is willing to communicate, have you there, get you ingrained in the process. Because clearly, he's making sure Matt Torres is on site with those people. And I can guarantee you they're not texting that coach to get there when they're there and compensating them appropriately and everything else. So, but it is a crazy thing to watch when you watch this. And I think, again, people watch it for enjoyment. They like the spectacle of it, the circus of it all. But there's so much to be learned, especially if you are a aspiring athlete or aspiring coach, or you just want to get better at this thing. Like, and everybody asks all the time, like, oh, what's the mindset coaching look like? There it is. You can take some of that stuff, look at what they're doing, hear what they're saying, see where it applies to you, talk to people around you, read some more books. CJ went out and got a mental performance coach in the area. That's a cool thing. Like in Colorado, they have places like that you can go to. And I would argue they're I don't know if they are. I didn't actually clarify with her if they're therapists at all, like if they're licensed therapists. But either way, like that word therapist, I think has a lot of negative connotation, but like that's what they should be if they're helping you with this stuff. And it's totally fine to do that and work through with a therapist how you're going to change your mind to be like these individuals and like squeeze out every inch of human performance to do what it is that you want to do. And I think people at the top, like we talked about this pro t-shirt and we're talking about all this other stuff and like enhancement of drugs and all this high performance thing. But like at the end of the day, this is the ultimate performance enhancer is your mind and figuring it out. And these are good examples. The Torian video is a good example if you watch it and you really read into it. And this is also a really good example if you watch it and learn. And like Harley said earlier, become a student of it. This makes coaching 10 times easier and 10 times more effective. It does.
Yeah. I was saying earlier with the Travis example and the Noah example that I threw a line out there of like, I wish I had less going on between my ears in my competitive moments. And I think that the people who truly can turn off the inner dialogue, you know, not necessarily turn it off, but cultivate a productive and minimalistic inner dialogue are the people who can actually tap in and express the top end physical, because the mind is, you know, a feedback loop, one that can spiral into positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
And then also that feedback loop takes the time that it takes. So we've talked about trying to shorten the loop over time to where like, if you feel yourself start to spiral, have an actionable item or cue to shorten up the feedback loop, bring you back to the moment and focus on what you're doing. And ideally over time, you can make that feedback loop shorter and shorter. But no matter how short you make it, it still takes the time that it takes. And it may be a second, it may be 10 seconds, whatever it is. And you may get back onto the same pace or the same track you were on, or you may never. And so I think for the people who can cultivate that, really, I don't want to call it a professional mindset, but the
let's do it because the t-shirt says pro.
Sure. I mean, this is where my mind went because you instilled it into my current thought process. But yeah, like the mindset of the professionals, the true like tip of the spear, the elites, the elite of the elites in the sport, they all have this ability to be so present in the moment and only focus on doing the next movement, doing the next rep, the very next thing.
And I know a lot of people feel that. I think
nothing else matters though either.
Yeah. But I like, you know, I think about like a burpee, right? Because burpees are tough and challenging. But like, I know we have all had this experience at one time or another where you're doing burpees, you're doing a set of burpees. And like, sometimes the pain gets so much that you're just like, man, either you go this route and you want to stop, or you just focus on like the next rep. I know we've all had that experience to some degree, and it doesn't have to be the burpee, but like, it's very easy to just be like, all right, next rep. All right, next rep. All right, next rep. And that's all they're really doing in their mind. When people can get to that point, they're getting their best performance when they just focus on the next rep and nothing else.
Yeah, I was talking to Scott Tetlow at Metcon Rush last year. My
your burpee whisperer?
My burpee whisperer. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys recall, but in 2023 at semifinals, he tied Colton Mertens in the burpee box jump over ring muscle up complex workout with a ruck. And then this Metcon Rush workout had a very kind of similar format to it from a time domain perspective. And then he beat everyone by literally like 20 burpee box jump overs in this other workout at Metcon Rush. So 2 out of 2 times that I've seen him do burpees in person has just absolutely like demolished the floor or tied the best burpee guy in CrossFit. Right. And he is definitely an outlier. And I asked him the next day, I think you actually prompted me to ask him. You're like, I was like, man, I don't know how he got so good. And you're like, go ask him. Just go ask. And so I did. The next morning, I like cross paths with them. We were sitting next to each other in warm area. And I was like, hey man, like, how'd you get so good at burpees? He's like, well, I'm pretty short. I'm like, don't give me that shit. He's like, you can always do one more burpee. I'm like, shut up. Like you're not giving me the good stuff, man. Like you're giving me the short answer. Like you can always do one more burpee is not the right answer. You just you held 33 burpees per round for 3 rounds in a row. And technically the last one, you fell off by 2 reps. I was like, you were so consistent across this workout that it's not just doing one more burpee. And he's like, yeah, I think it comes back to, positive self-talk or like having essentially that feedback loop that I just talked about a second ago, and having the ability to like refocus the mind whenever things get hard. And essentially, whether you're telling yourself just do the next rep or do the next burpee, or you have some type of actionable cue in your mind to shorten that feedback loop and get you back into the moment, the present moment, regardless of the physical discomfort you're feeling, like that's where these people are able to express their top potential, right? I'm not going to say that the mind is magically going to make you Scott Tetlow at burpees, but if he had negative self-talk and he let it spiral, he wouldn't be the best burpee guy, because
you're not going to get close.
You're not even going to be close, because the brain controls it all.
Yeah.
If your mind's not in it, your heart's not in it, you're not going to be in it. So you won't be able to do more burpees, even if you tell yourself all day you want to.
Yeah. And the other thing is it's an independent game, right? So like you can talk to your coach about it. We can give you suggestions and we can have these conversations. You can find a therapist and have them help you with it. And everybody's going to help you, walk you through, find the reasons why, what's bringing the issues up for you, kind of decode those things, maybe bring some awareness to the things about yourself. And then you can use all that stuff and then use the tools and tactics to try and apply it in training. But then after that, it's all in the training, and like purposely doing that in the training with the things, even if it's not working. That's the other thing too. I think people will try to change their mindset or change like what's happening, and they'll have these tools, but they're like, well, I tried. And it's like one session. It's kind of like the bar muscle up thing you're talking about. They'll try one time. It's like, why don't you just try for the next 6 months and then we'll see if this doesn't work, And most of the time, the people around you who you've enrolled into trying to give you advice on the quote unquote right approach, if they've been with you long enough, they know the right approach. That third party person watching you from afar, the coach or the therapist or the mental skills coach, they know. So you just need to listen and surrender to that process, but also like do your homework too. Like, there's so much content on the internet, even us. It's like, take a second to read into it. Don't just like enjoy that Torian Pro reel. Like it's sick. I love stuff like that. I think it's like Michael Bay, Bad Boys for Life, Transformers, entertainment. But there's so much human behind that 30 seconds you're watching that you could either watch and learn from if you're involved in trying to push yourself physically, or you can just enjoy it as a Transformer movie reel,
You want to hear an interesting one? You talked about like, oh, there's the line. There's so much human in that. I was at the barber, right? Got a haircut today.
Yeah, sick.
I'm excited for the
story.
My barber was like, she's this quirky lady, and we go off on tangents about like, is the world real? Like conspiracy theory shit, like just talking random barbershop talk, right?
Yeah.
Today, for whatever reason, we got off on a like more of like this type of conversation about like the mindset, like knowing your worth, like discussing like people trying to not take advantage, but people who are your friends unintentionally trying to get the homie hookup all the time and not actually supporting your business, and that type of thing happens. And she was like, have you ever used Chat GPT to script conversations? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And so she was like, all right, like if you have to have a hard conversation with someone, like she's like, someone at my work was talking shit about me and I didn't know how to handle it. And for whatever reason, I thought this person was my friend, and it truly like hit me really hard. And so I had to like, I utilized Chat GPT arguably as a therapist. And so she prompted the situation, prompted her feelings, what was going on. And it gave really like, she showed me the whole outline of the conversation. It was like very actionable items of like breath work, going on a walk, like prompts for reflection, prompts for journaling, like all of this stuff. And it's like, she's like, it kind of makes sense because it's, it has access to the wealth of knowledge on the internet, and every therapist who's ever written a blog ever about anything.
Yeah, not only that, medical journals. I mean, the Harvard Medical School is all over the
Correct.
internet. It's
Correct.
pulling that information.
And
Ohio
it's
State, like
and
it's pulling.
consolidating all
Yeah.
of it into these like very actionable and sort of outlined approaches.
ChatGPT is kind of scary in that.
It's
in that
scary, dude. It was wild. I was like, what?
Because people are gonna say, there are people who are gonna say like, oh, you shouldn't. Like, there are people who say, oh, don't trust Google. What do you think Google is? It's the modern day library. I don't understand why. Like, yeah, you trust Google, but don't trust the human being sifting through the information. Now we have a machine that is
Who's gonna
sifting
do
through the
that for you.
information.
Do
Oh
it
my
for you
God.
like that. And then
Crazy.
it was interesting. So like she then went further and asked like it offered like, do you want me to give you exercises and an outline of how you can format like your daily routine of like how you implement these exercises? And she's like, yeah, sure. And it was basically like, day 1 do this, day 2 do this, day 3 do this. And it was like wild. Like,
I mean, that's really great for structure and process, but then like over
without
time,
dialogue, yeah.
my fear over time is you're losing human connection. So you're gonna have other problems. You're gonna have so many other problems as a human being.
If you can't communicate, I mean, ideally you then take those tools and you put them into real world application, like having that tough conversation that you theoretically scripted via ChatGPT. Like if you never have the conversation, then you're just like living in your little digital world.
That,
But
but I'm also saying like just even like it's good that you can use it as a tool for like a quick like support system. But I do believe in like having people that you can confide in that know what they're talking
100%.
about to help you, because you can't ever get away from that human connection. You need it.
Oh,
You're gonna get ruined. Like look at the kids just with the screens, like that
dude,
research.
iPad kids are just gross.
They're destroyed.
They're broken.
And on that note,
have a great day, guys. Thanks for spending an hour and a half looking at a screen to listen to us talk.
Hey, listen, hopefully we
I
brought
love
it
you.
horizons. Tristan, what do you think about all that, man? What do you think about those examples of high level athletes? Text me. I'd love to know. Oh, the last thing I was actually going to close on, I sent it to Sophia just to give people context who follow me on Instagram. And also, I feel like recently, because the Savan stuff at Syndicate Crown, the Savan podcast, and the feedback they're getting from their language or how they do things or this, that, the other, I want to be more real in life. I think that's the thing I took away from it. Like on my Instagram, I might start posting stuff that's just like real stuff. Or if I get triggered, I might set up the camera and start talking about why I'm triggered.
I mean, that's the whole point of Instagram nowadays, is to create reels.
Haha, that's a good one. That was a good joke. But no, I just think it was really, because I think in the process of pushing people away and alienating people, you're going to find, the right people that you want to have around you.
So we should be alienating people?
No, but
let's do it, dude.
But I think there's some people you don't need in your life. I think that goes for everybody, all peoples. But I did learn that. But yeah, anyways, pull us up. So this I posted, and there were some people who DM me and were mad about this. Reese versus Lexi Neely. So if we use the P-score system, which is a performance-based scoring system that will judge all the workouts based on the differential from the top athlete based on their loads, reps, and times to show who is actually fit by measure of the individual workouts, Reese would have taken a spot to the CrossFit Games and beaten Lexi Neely. And I just want to bring this up because it does go into like the mindset of stuff. And there's a thing like scroll in the comments or pull up Reese's comment. Yeah, it's the top one. Just basically saying how Lexi earned the spot. And this is true in the context of the game that they're playing and the point system that they had in the event and the 6 events they all did and everything else and how it's structured. She did earn her spot to the CrossFit Games. But what gets missed on this is not the fact that she commented that. She is kind of missing the point of that CrossFit is not finding the fittest, and the P-score is showing that. It's showing that it is just finding the people that can beat the other people based on the current point system, which is what we have. And it says like, okay, those people won. But when you look at this P-score ranking between the two people, and if you run the whole leaderboard, Reese is fitter by measure of the events. So by the measure of broad times and mobile domains, Reese is fitter than Lexi Neely. I do think,
and relative to the field they're in.
Correct. And the tests that they're taking. on that day with those people.
Not just an arbitrary score distribution, point
Right.
distribution.
Yeah, and that's what it is right now. It's like you get first place, you get 100 points. You get second place, you get 98 points. If Tia beats people, which she did, by 2 minutes on a workout, she does not get rewarded for that capacity, which goes against CrossFit's own definition of fitness in the level 1 manual. So I just want to bring this up, not to hate on Lexi Neely. She should still be at the CrossFit Games. It's the game we're playing. It's great. And I like that Tyler's doing this. I do just want to highlight people's level of fitness and that we could change the scoring system to be better, to do what it's supposed to do. And if I could get the cohort of our watchers and our believers to press upon CrossFit, maybe one day.
What was the point spread in, like, how many points did she win by in the other, or sorry, lose by in the other scoring system?
I don't know. I didn't really look at it. So the point is she lost and there's nothing.
No, I understand that. I just want to see like she only would have won by 4.5 points.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not very
and
much.
then I wonder by like how much she would have lost, because it was like a pretty tight spread, right?
It was tight.
Yeah,
It was-
exactly. So
the whole
like
weekend the girls were tight.
it's like, yeah, it's
So
very
that's
exciting
even-
regardless. And it's like we're literally like, this conversation isn't to say that no one is more or less deserving of the
Correct.
spot.
Correct.
And these are all phenomenal athletes. It's just acknowledging that the devil's in the details of how you distribute
As people
and
get more
value
fit.
work.
Yeah, and as people get more fit, the precision of scoring needs to increase, because we're going to have a situation down the road, and we did this weekend. It's a small example. All of those girls, the top 5 girls who are fighting for a spot to the CrossFit Games, were within seconds of finishing each other, each workout with each other.
Yeah, and
most
so
of
then
it's-
you're looking at it through the lens of like, all right, well, a 5-second win or loss is worth 5 points on the traditional scoring system, but
Yeah,
those anyways, listen, let me finish. This arbitrary point value, this uniform point value, second place to third place is worth this, when really they were all like neck and neck the entire time. So they could be rewarded potentially only 1 point apart because their fitness was relatively closer.
Yeah, it can make the races even tighter than they
Tighter
were.
for sure. Which, and then acknowledging it's like, oh well, instead of at the end of the weekend, it's like I lost by 3 points. It's like, well, yeah, you still could potentially win by 3 points, lose by 3 points, but you know that those 3 points are even more accurate per workout across the entire test, rather than having moments of like, yeah, it was 3 points, but there were 3 workouts where I beat the other person by a minute, but it was still
What it
1-2.
also does is it slightly eliminates, not slightly. I think I'd have to dive into it and ask Tyler, but just on surface level, so in the last workout with Reese, she was going to the CrossFit Games, and then if 8 people got between her and Lexi Neely, then she does not go to the CrossFit Games. With the P score, it doesn't matter how many people. It matters about the fitness level and the time.
The time domain. Yeah, the time spread.
Yeah. So if then they start looking at it that way, but it has nothing to do. It has everything to do with her own effort and her own score than it does like how many people.
Other people's performances.
Yeah.
So it takes
It does
out
solve that problem a little bit.
It kind of takes out, or it dampens the effect of like other people's performances are dictating where you fall.
Yeah. Oh God, we've already done this. Tyler's already done this, and that's why he actually doesn't think Matt Fraser's that great. So just we'll leave it at that.
Well, I think that there was this dampened effect of the Matt Fraser situation where he just knew he would win, so he'd back off a lot.
Yeah, there's that. We'll never know.
Which we will never know the right answer.
That's
right?
another effect of the P score. It rewards you pushing
when you dominate
to your maximum potential, because then you can create a greater spread between you and the rest of the field or the next person. So it does encourage people giving their best effort. Whereas like what Harley's saying is like, we'll never know, because Matt could have stood around on the competition floor and not crossed the finish line, but he didn't do that. So we'll never know.
Yeah. Nate Hall just pull up that. coming.
We're not going to look at the 2020 games. There was
No,
five.
I know. Ignore the 5 people.
Nope,
I'm
nope.
talking about the online portion when there's 20, and he's talking about
You
friendly,
can't destroy.
friendly Fran.
It doesn't matter. The point system
No.
was problematic with those number of competitors for the online portion. Also, the same thing with the 2020.
Okay,
the
I was
score-
going to go off on a different
points were-
story.
I know, but what I'm arguing his point because he said and destroyed. It's like he
I was
destroyed.
gonna ignore
You got
his point.
10. You got a 10-point differential between first, second, third. It's terrible. It's a.
I was going to acknowledge that he got destroyed 2 days after posting that his time for friendly Fran was going to be upheld for a period of time. He'll stand for a while. Colin's like, and I take that personally.
Hey, he had to run from the pull-up bar across the line, the distance, so that could have been the time.
That was still, it was phenomenal. I
Could
just
have
love
been the time.
timing. I just love the timing of just Fraser says what he says, and Colton's like, well, I take that personally, so I'm gonna go out and do that tomorrow.
No, I actually think he didn't. I think it just got programmed randomly. I'd have to ask Joey.
That would be
Yeah,
incredibly talk
yeah.
about, like I said it earlier, I was like, talk about coincidental, right? Like series of events.
dude.
Like you see this happens over here.
No, the
and they
Sunday where we did the ring muscle ups running 20-minute AMRAP.
Yeah.
I texted CJ. I was like, dude, I feel like everybody and their mom is doing running and ring muscle ups this weekend. Like Jeffrey Adler had a workout, James Sprague had a workout. Like they're all doing running and ring muscle ups. I was like, oh, everyone just for whatever reason this weekend did running and ring muscle ups.
And I just pulled that from 2011 CrossFit.com.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So talk about coincidences.
Gotta
Anyways,
love the correlation of
don't ever
events.
bring up 2020 games ever again, Nate.
Yeah, Nate, how dare you?
You're gonna trigger me.
We don't
dude.
talk about that.
Especially when it's in relevance of the scoring system. Like it's just, that scoring system was so bad. I don't know why they did that.
All right.
That's
Well, I gotta go ride a bike or something. I still haven't eaten lunch, so I'm gonna go eat lunch, then go on a bike.
Cool. We're gonna end it. Hey guys, if you like this video, like and subscribe, share with your friends, tell everybody about it, and learn something. Love you.